Welcome to the podcast of
To the
disaster.
podcast of disaster.
I'm your host, JCR1216,
And I'm your co-host, Paul Fireside Firefly.
and welcome to the first discussion episode of the podcast of disaster. Obviously, this is a big moment for us. We just released our first episode, but not yet because this is recorded in the past. Because if I was doing this at the same time, you would have to call me a time traveler.
That would be impressive.
Yeah, that's the type of business experience you need to get a job nowadays. 5 years, only living 4.
Too true.
That's what I've kind of done with community college, but that's not here or then or there. We have questions to answer from our Google form.
Thanks for sending them in, everyone.
Yep. So, the first official question for the podcast of disaster, it comes from page 153. Should Shadow have a gun again?
Oh, good question. I mean, did you see how cool he was in the movie with it? I would love to see him use a gun again in the game.
Yeah, having the gun was a cool touch for the movie. I had no idea how they would do it. Even though it's a space gun, it's like, dude, Shadow with a gun just invokes something in me. I don't know what it is.
It's just too cool.
Yeah. I've played a bit of the PS2 game. We don't talk about the PS2 game, but it's just cool seeing Shadow with something that we all know that Sonic wouldn't touch. I don't even think Silver knows what a gun is.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's a good point. It's something that Sonic would probably never use, and seeing Shadow use a more dangerous weapon like that just kind of hits home how intimidating he is.
Yeah, Shadow's a dangerous character. He's going to inherently be dangerous. Kind of.
I like what they did in the movie too, where they had like a laser version of the gun. That felt very
Shadowristic.
very right for that kind of adaptation. Yeah.
Yeah, like we don't need to see, full on guns in the movie. As I said in the movie review episode, like it's cool that Shadow has a gun, but it's just nice seeing it.
Exactly. It was a good homage.
Yeah, knowing that Sega is fine with acknowledging things before 2010.
True.
Now for the next question.
Our next question is from Anonymous, and it asks, what is your favorite type of shipping dynamic? Oh, that's so hard to ask someone who's a multi-shipper.
Yeah, I ship
so many good things to choose from. Exactly.
I like the optimist with the more shy person. I think that's to come from me being a fan of the movie WALL-E. WALL-E is my favorite movie of all time. I love WALL-E and Eve's
dynamic. Love WALL-E. Oh,
yeah,
I love WALL-E and Eve. They're so sweet.
Yeah, that's why I'm a big fan of stuff like Sylvisper. I'm a big fan of stuff like Sylvaise. I love Shad Amy, where it's kind of a mixture of that.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, those are so good.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing about shipping. There's so many dynamics. Almost any dynamic can work.
Absolutely.
Unless it's Sonic.
Yeah, I really find myself enjoying. True. I find myself enjoying. I have kind of a running list of ships that have like the same dynamic that I enjoy. And that's like kind of a more oblivious one, and then a very obvious one. So Son Amy really fits under that bucket. I think Sylvaise might fit under that too, and depending on your interpretation, Sonado. But I quite enjoy shenanigans of someone being very blatant and the other person just kind of having it all bounce right off of them.
My favorite ship in the Sonic series, though, is Sonangle. Where I like the fact that there's like two.
That's such a fun one.
Yeah, they're just two goobers that coexist. It's like
they have so much energy, and I can't imagine what their adventures would be like together. Just so much chaos.
Yeah, I'm just imagining just like Sonic and Tangle just sitting in a line, and they just play rock paper scissors like 1,000 times in a row because they're just bored.
Yeah, one thing that they both can agree on is that boredom is the worst.
Yes. Okay. Time for the next question from Jay Goblin. One of the things I've noticed in Shadow Gens is that there seems to be an attempt in giving Shadow some sense of closure of his past, a theme of accepting emotions that come from it, good and bad. I remember Ian Flint and Kai Zem Emen mentioning in the Bumblecast question where there's potential for Shadow to cross the bridge for fighting for the happiness of others and himself. It makes me question, how would you imagine that version of Shadow, and would his dynamic with the cast be/change game in IDW? I'd imagine that he'd like to hang out, and maybe sometimes he doesn't, and maybe find one or two folks that are similar dark place, and he tries reaching out to them.
Oh, wow.
I totally botched
a lot of thought put into that one.
But that really is.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I definitely noticed that. I mean, with all the work that they put into Dark Beginnings and then leading into the game and then how they're dealing with things in the movie, I agree. It really does seem like they're trying to give Shadow some closure on his past and maybe move forward into new storylines with him, which is super exciting because as much as we love, obviously, Maria and his whole backstory with that, we have seen it quite a few times in various different media. I think the remake of that story in Shadow Gens was very much needed to really drive home that part of his story, but I'm really excited to see what other directions they'll go with it. And maybe that will involve, helping other anti-heroes or antagonists or just other troubled characters out of what they're going through.
I really do agree with that statement. I'm excited to see Shadow do stuff again. Like I love Shadow, but I have my biggest criticism of him is that we barely get to see him do stuff outside of the early 2000s because I felt like they just kind of got afraid of the other characters. It's like we would maybe see Tails once every while, and like maybe Amy and Knuckles if we're lucky. But just having Shadow have his own stage again, and we get to reintroduce Shadow. I feel like this year was kind of a soft reboot for Shadow because he is the second most popular character in the franchise.
Right.
No matter what way you split it, it's just him and Sonic at the top, especially in like stuff like fan fiction. But that's for another day.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, they made it into that top ships list this year. Congrats to them. But yeah, no, I think they definitely are the two biggest characters in terms of general fan consensus. So I agree. I think this was kind of a soft reset for his character and a really good one. So I hope that the success that they've seen through these stories will lead them to maybe throw him in some different places and interact with different characters. I would love to see more interactions with him and like Tails or Amy, Knuckles, anyone really.
I agree with that. I want to see him interact with Whisper.
Yes, that would be so cool. They'd have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, and especially about the suing Eggman for copyright infringement of likeness of image, the Shadow androids.
True, true.
But
I
that is
do
some
both have a grudge against those.
yeah. So it is interesting seeing Shadow deal with his pain because everyone deals with pain differently. I've dealt with pain
Hmm.
differently. I'm pretty sure you've dealt with pain differently. Shadow has gone through
Probably.
something that not that many people have seen, which is seeing someone that they love die right in front of them.
Hmm.
That is something that's hard to swallow. So seeing them touch that, especially in the game and the movie, touch that with such delicacy and such professionalism and maturity is really nice to see. Because as much as I do like
Hmm.
some of the stuff Shadow 05 does stand for, I really don't like the
Hmm.
fact that they just kind of make Maria's death just this rock and roll moment. Like there are some sweet moments in
Sure.
there, especially in like stuff like SA2, but it just feels like they treated it this time with a lot more like carefulness, and I really do appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm a bit newer to the fandom, but when I joined the fandom, this was before the era of Shadow and all these new games and movies and everything. Um, Maria's death was seen as more of an inside joke with the fandom. It was seen as like Shadow's canon event and not much else. So really getting the heart behind that story and treating it more seriously um, as a part of a very important character was really really nice. I agree.
Yeah, because I do remember when I was at the Sonic Symphony, fantastic show, but like everybody,
Yes.
including myself, because I'm guilty of this, we all cheered when we saw Maria on screen.
Oh yes.
But like it's
When
different in the
you're in a crowd
movie.
of Sonic fans, it's understandable, but
Yeah, I thank God nobody screamed "Let's go" in the movie theaters. Like,
I agree. My theater was very respectful. Thank goodness.
yeah, so it is nice seeing that Maria is being taken seriously again. I like seeing the fact that Gerald
Mhm.
was taken seriously again. Besides,
Yeah.
yeah, like even
Yeah.
in the movie where he is a little bit more goofy, he still feels like Gerald Robotnik. He still feels like one of
I
the most
agree.
insane characters in the franchise.
Yeah. No,
But
I think they did really well with him overall.
to overall answer the question, I would love to see him interact with people like Whisper, Lanolin, and just interact with people that have dealt with some pretty bad things. Because we've all seen the new characters besides maybe Tangle, but who knows what they're going to throw at her later. We've seen what happened with Lanolin and
Right.
Whisper with them just dealing with betrayal and like stuff like that. They're characters that I would love to see
Mhm.
bond with them. Obviously, you have Team Dark, but that's like another thing. I just want to see them do different things, and they're kind of doing it now. So I'm really excited to see what the future is.
100%.
Also, shout out to Evan Stanley getting hired because I'm really excited to see him.
Yes. Shout out. We're so happy about that.
Yeah, like
Oh,
that was like a really
congrats.
cool thing to see her because I love some of the Shadow stuff that she's done. Obviously, Ian does the games, but I feel
Oh,
like
yeah.
Evan has a little bit more sense of the characters.
Her work is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Big fan.
I think she is the overall MVP the last 20 years for Sonic. Okay. Next question. Who's it from?
Our next question is from String Bean, and they want to know which Chaos Emerald would taste the best.
Ooh.
Oh. Now,
Honestly.
I am a firm believer that you should never ever trust red flavors because sometimes it's good and sometimes it tastes like bad medicine.
Oh, come on. Red is like my red used to be my favorite color, but now it's green. Red. I just hope it's a cherry flavor because I love cherry flavored stuff. There's just one cherry ice cream that I got one time, and it's like I've needed this my entire life.
Oh, cherry ice cream.
Yeah.
So good.
Maybe one day we'll do a discussion thing where we go over every cast's favorite ice cream flavor. That's something for the future, though. But
There
yeah,
you go. There you go.
yeah, ideas on the spot. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah,
But yeah,
but the as far as the green goes, like you said, your favorite color changed to green. Green is the most trustworthy. Green's always good. It's like
but it's
green
also the
apple.
color
It could
you
be
want.
watermelon. Oh,
Imagine
that's
just
true.
biting into. I've actually bitten into a dollar bill before. It tastes awful. It tastes like cloth.
I mean, it is paper, so I'm not too surprised.
I used to
You'll
eat
be
the
happy to
muffin
know, though.
paper on like muffins, so now I'm just getting that taste back in my mouth.
It's really funny. There you go. No, my favorite kind of those like jelly beans that can be like weird flavors. I really like the grass ones. So I feel like no matter what the green is, I'll like it, even if it's not necessarily a normal flavor.
You just reminded me that I remember going over to a sleepover and they had like spicy grass at their house, so I ate the spicy grass. It
Spicy
tasted like
grass.
celery. Like that was like one of the most insane things.
Yeah,
Ever.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
a chicken farm in the backyard.
Yeah. Here's a question for you guys at home. Were you the type of kid to go out in the backyard and eat grass? Because I was.
I tried
Some good
to
grass out there.
get a pet ant, and we don't talk about how much
Pet
the
ant.
Terminator bill was.
Let's see. What are the other colors? Do you think the dark blue and light blue are different flavors?
Probably like Gatorade.
Gatorade. Oh my goodness, it is like the dark and light blue
Red
Gatorade.
Ford.
You know, I bet you're right. Do you prefer the light blue or the dark blue?
Oh, you're gonna get me killed. Dark blue probably.
Yes. Dark blue is better. Thank you.
Dark blue is
It's so
like,
much more refreshing.
yeah, dark blue is pretty good. Light blue is like fine if you're like out on like the beach, but dark blue is like athlete game time. Let's go.
Exactly. You think the clear one is flavorless, or do you think it has a flavor?
I think it's like that. I think it's just like white chocolate,
White chocolate. Ooh, sweet.
or that other Gatorade flavor.
Or the other Gatorade flavor. Those are pretty different flavors.
I think it's like icy cherry or something like that. White cherry.
Yeah, it's a cherry adjacent flavor.
Yeah. Maybe the purple one is grapes. So we all know Knuckles would be down to have that.
It's got to be grape. Yeah,
I remember.
Knuckles would probably. Yeah. His favorite was the red one, but I feel like if he had to eat them, his favorite would be the purple.
Yeah. What can I say? Knuckles is a purple guy.
Yeah, he's definitely purple.
Yep. The eye color too.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I think the best tasting one I'm gonna have to go with green as my final answer.
Next one is from Pokerus. I think I said that right. What are you gonna do next?
Yep.
On your awesome journey.
What?
I think
Interesting question.
answer your question.
On our personal journeys?
I go back to school.
There you go.
I stayed for this entire semester of my senior year. For the first semester, I stayed at home the entire year. It kind of drove
Oh
me
wow,
insane.
online?
All online. We do not talk about accounting 120 in this household.
Oh, I hate accounting.
Yeah, not fun at all. It was just like the entire time. It was just. I mean, the episode might just be called JCR complains about accounting for 20 minutes, but
Uh-oh.
just like accounting.
Good luck, editor.
That's me who edits. Besides the sound.
Ooh, self-inflicted.
Yeah, just accounting was awful. Biology was cool. I was able to rebound and get like a low C, but like my biology teacher in high school, never taught biology before.
Oh,
Every teacher that I had from my freshman and sophomore year is gone from my high school.
oh no.
Yeah. It was so good. I got into college
That's not
twice.
fun.
I got a letter of recommendation from the English chair, so that was fun. But yeah, things are going well. My goal for 2025 and my next step in my journey is graduating high school and getting community college done as well with my associate's degree, and then enrolling at a school. I'm not going to say where because I do not want people to throw sweet potatoes at me again.
That's probably a good idea. I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm about to graduate as well, except I'm graduating college. So that's, I guess, my next steps is to finish classes and graduate. But beyond that, I don't know, just do more fandom stuff like this and have a good time and get excited about more Sonic content. That's what's next for me.
Yeah, why did I have to take my entire childhood for stuff to get good? I swear, it's a trend with my sports teams besides the Hornets. It's just like, why? I'm just so happy that Sonic is good now, though. So, yeah, I get to enjoy that until my adulthood.
Yeah, I missed the first part of that, buddy. I got to come in when it was already getting good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I became I think I was a fan for Sonic for a little bit, and then got told it was cringe. Then came back when the first movie came out.
Oh. Hmm.
Okay. But that was a pretty thought-provoking question. Now, what we're gonna do next right now is answer the next question.
Yes, and this one is from Anonymous. They ask, how do you properly use layers when doing digital art? That's a great question.
That's a question for you
I don't
because
know
I
if
am terrible
you
at
do
art.
too much digital art. Yeah, so it really depends on the program you use. There are a lot of different programs with a lot of different layer styles, but in general, you can make new layers. Usually there's a tab on the application for you to make new layers. And the basic idea is that instead of drawing everything on one layer like you would if you were doing traditional art, you're kind of able to separate the art piece into different stages. So I think most people like to break it up into a layer with all the lines, a layer with all the colors, a background, and then a layer with any lighting or shading or extra effects that they want to make. And it's kind of up to you how many layers you want to use or how you want to use them. But they're really good for kind of being able to go back and redo parts of the drawing without having to mess with other aspects of it. So, for example, I like to make a sketch and then draw lines over it in a new layer. That way I can go back and undo things or change them without losing any of my progress. And then when I do my colors, I can do those on a separate layer so that I don't have to erase any lines if I mess up with coloring. And you basically just take that idea and use it however you see fit. And good luck with your digital art because it's super fun.
Yeah, I don't know how to answer this. I write. I would love to learn how to draw, but I remember I did try to get back into drawing for a little bit where I did like rock. I remember people doing like pet rocks, so I tried to draw them as characters like pet rocks.
That's so cute.
Yeah, but it did not go well because I used to be pretty good at art. I like drawing my art with like pen and paper or pencil and paper because I
Yeah.
was terrible with a pen. But I remember trying to draw characters again, but my art teacher was like really bad in high school and I kind of messed up my thumb,
Mm.
so it's like kind of hard for me to
Oh
draw
no.
again. But
Sure.
I love commissioning people to draw. I love seeing people do art because to me stuff like I think art, no matter what type it is, either it's film, I think writing is a form of art. I think obviously drawing and all that stuff is type of art is the most freeing thing you can do. It's the best way to
Mm.
express yourself.
Yeah, I mean, as an artist, I completely agree with that. I think it's a very freeing tool for me and also just tons of fun. But yeah, no, uh, anyone who's interested in drawing, don't be afraid to pick up a pen, pick up a pencil, pick up whatever medium feels most interesting to you and just try it. I've never been one for formal art instruction. I'm all self-taught. So a lot of it is just getting inspired and using that inspiration to create something. And it doesn't really matter how technically perfect it is, as long as you're having fun and making something, because that's worth a lot.
Yeah. Um, and remember, as long as you pick up a pencil and paper, you're automatically better than half of Twitter that uses AI.
Yeah, as far as AI goes,
Yeah, like, as long as you pick up a pencil
it's
and paper, don't use
yeah,
AI. That's what that joke was.
yeah. It can be a complicated subject, but in general, it's not helpful. For one thing, it doesn't help you really learn anything. Um, and for another thing, it's harmful to a lot of the artists you might like or support. It takes away from that joy of creating from a lot of people, and it can actively harm their means of support. So stay away from AI and just try your best to have fun doing it yourself. It's really valuable to learn those skills, anyways.
Yeah, there's nothing better than I love commissioning people. Like I understand like if you can't draw, there's no harm with learning how to draw. Like there's no harm with just like doodling. You don't have to be perfect. Just be happy with what you have. And remember, you can always learn online, like do classes. And you can always commission people. That's what I like doing. I like supporting people around me. And I think this was a very good question.
Absolutely. Thanks for asking it.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Okay. Next question is from name one moot from each country. Second, who inspired you to do art? Answer the moot question
One
first or
mood from
else.
each country? There's a lot of countries in the world. I don't know if I have a mood from each country.
Well, if we go by just the world tour, how countries do, how things do world tours, all we have to do is say America.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
So let's just do that. My favorite, you're one of my favorite mutuals when it comes to art.
Oh, thanks. Let's see, a mutual. I mean, I'll just name a few that I've been enjoying talking to. I've been enjoying talking to Frankie a lot and Robbie. That's Frankie the Eccentric and Space Rat. They're really cool. I've been talking to Yes Arts, who's another member of the podcast. Super excited to
Happy
chat
birthday,
more.
by the way. Today's technically your birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday! Oh my goodness, yes, happy birthday! I hope they're having a great day. Um, yeah, I've met a lot of amazing people through the community. As far as inspirations for art, I think the person who inspired me to start making Sonic art was Pelusa. I hope I'm saying that right. Pelusa or Rat Riot on Twitter. Um, the art they've made is just just stunning. You should absolutely check out Pelusa's work. Just beautiful, super emotional, and super cool art style in general. Very sketchy and like reminds me of like a coloring book. Um, which definitely inspired me. I loved the way that the characters looked, so I was like, I gotta try that.
Yeah. When I was doing art, one of my main inspirations was Up Iworks, that
Oh yes.
the guy who drew Mickey. As much as I'm a
Hmm.
fan of like stuff like the fact that he got done like those full cartoons in like 2 weeks is insane.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, if we're going OG art inspiration, I mean, just all of the cartoons I grew up
Tex
watching
Avery,
totally
Charlie
inspired
Hope.
me.
Yeah, just like animation. I love 2D animation. I want to direct a 2D
Hmm.
movie so bad with Sonic. I want to do a scene where
Oh, that would be
Silver
so
is just like
fun.
doing things.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I love digital art, animation is something that I'm still pretty unfamiliar with. I've dabbled in it, I've done it before, but there are some really incredible people in this community and other communities I've been in that just, yeah, it's magic to me. It's magic.
Yeah, like
So cool.
yeah, I'm like, oh my god, you did that. It's like,
Yeah,
oh wow, like
it
I
takes
think
so
it's kind
much
of like the
work.
same thing when it comes to like writing, where it's like, oh my god, like I just wrote that. Like I think it's that same magic that
Yeah.
artists feel. It's like, oh my god, I think this is like peak. And then I get so mad when people I think like seeing people just clown on their own art saying, oh, it doesn't look like no matter what, like your art will always look good. Like you drew it, like that's you. Like to me, there's no such thing as a
True.
bad drawing made by a person unless it's you know,
Mm.
you know what I mean.
Yeah, it can be hard to get out of that kind of mindset where you're so self-critical of your own art that when you post that kind of stuff online, other artists who have similar styles or think that your art is really good, they might think that their art isn't as good or take that as like a sign that they'll never get to whatever level they want to reach. So being positive about your own art is super important. I mean, just for your own health too. So
Yeah.
yeah, good point.
Yep. So what's next on the menu?
Our next question comes from Spouse Master 9. And what would be the funniest Jewel ship? Jewel the Beetle. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
That's a
I'm
good
so happy that she
question.
finally got
Funniest.
some like notice. I like the idea of Sonic and Jewel. I think that'd be pretty goofy. It's like
Ooh,
that flirting with my
that would
sister
be
Knuckles
funny.
and Sonic bit. I'm just imagining that with Sonic and Tangled.
Yeah,
Like you're flirting with
yeah.
my sister. Yes, I am.
Sonic and Jewel would be a very, very funny combination because of how kind of organized and put together Jewel is and how chaotic and go with the flow Sonic is. But I think it could work because we already see that dynamic kind of working between Jewel and Tangle. So I think that would be super interesting.
Yeah, I'm just
Let me
imagining Jewel
think.
filling in like the Tails role, where she just sees Sonic go super and go in to fight the Death Egg. I think Jewel would honestly have a heart attack if she saw Tangle go flying towards the Death Egg. Just
Hmm.
imagine like Tangle's going like wee, like
Yeah, I
Jewel's like
think
no, Tangle, stop,
I
stop,
could
stop,
see that.
no cookie, no.
Oh, you know who would be the funniest to ship with Jewel?
Who?
Rouge.
That would I've actually helped somebody write that before. I think Jewel and Rouge would have a pretty cool dynamic.
She's a Jewel thief.
Yeah,
That's they would have a really funny dynamic. I mean, we've already seen people mistake Jewel for an actual Jewel.
yeah.
I
So
can't imagine what their first meeting would be like and how that would lead to something between them.
yeah, I guess you could kind of make it like the modern day Rouge and Topaz if you wanted to.
That's true.
But I feel like
They would
Rouge and
have a
Lanolin
similar
would be more
dynamic.
like Rouge and Topaz.
Hmm. Yeah, I think so. I think you're right there.
Okay, next up from
I don't know.
Anonymous.
Jewel and Jet.
Oh, Jewel and Jet. Hold on, Anonymous, real quick. Jewel and Jet would be like the funniest thing ever. I like Whisper and Jet together. I think it's also like goofy, but it's like, oh my god. I'm just imagining how many fights they would have.
Oh yeah.
They would. Oh my god, Tangle would hate that.
Yeah.
Next up from Anonymous. What is your favorite silver ship?
Mm.
I mean, I've already kind of said
Oh.
it. I am a big Sylvester guy. I love how cute it is. The fact that they're both dorks.
Hmm. Yes. Oh, it's such a cute one. I love a good rare pair. So I'm a big fan of Sylvester as well. I think they have a really awesome dynamic, especially after finally reading some IDW. I'm like, oh yeah, I see it. I really see it. But I'm basic. I'll admit it. My favorite is Sylvain's. I just think I'm a big fan of like us against the world type dynamics. And so Silver and Blaze in their kind of apocalyptic futures and alternate dimensions is just really fun to me.
I've warmed up a lot to Sylvays over the last couple of years. I used to not ship. I am more of a Sanae's guy, but I love Sylvays.
Hmm.
I like them
Yeah.
being like, I think they're very cute. I love them. They're very awesome. It's my second favorite. It's my second favorite Silver ship. My second favorite Blaze ship. I love them.
Mm,
I love seeing Silver and Blaze kind of like be together. They just look out for each other, which is like really nice to see because we all know that
exactly.
Silver needs someone to look after him. Blaze needs someone to remind her that you are a person. Well, technically you're a cat, you know what I mean. And that's what I think of
Yeah,
the
no, they
Silver and
really
Blaze
support each
dynamic.
other in good ways.
Like Silver, like even though I am a Sanae's guy, Silver and Blaze together makes more sense. Even though I am a big Sanae's guy, I love Silver and Blaze just like looking out for each other and just like being there for each other when they need each other the most. 06, for all
Hmm.
its flaws, I think Silver got the best story.
Yeah, I agree with that
Silver got the best
for
story.
sure.
Shadow got the best gameplay. Sonic got the best of nothing. Maybe
Sonic
that's
was there.
06. Maybe his theme was the best, but I love My Dreams of an
Yeah,
Absolution
there
is
you
an
go.
absolute banger though.
I do love Dreams of Absolution. Yeah.
But yeah, I love Silver and Blaze just like interacting with each other. I think they're really
Hmm.
good for each other and they're really kind to each other, and that's what I
Hmm.
like the most about Sylvays. To throw a curveball into the ring, Silverge.
Oh goodness, that's wow. That's rare.
Yeah, I
Silver.
created
I
that one
haven't thought of
actually.
that. Oh yeah,
Yeah, I created Silverge. It
Silver.
started out as a joke because just the idea of Silver and
As most
Surge,
things do.
the idea of Silver and Surge together, just oh god, that's
They are.
that is just imagine Silver and
Wow.
Surge together in 06. Like Sonic would be gone.
Oh, oh yeah.
They can bond over
Yeah,
hating
that's
Sonic.
that's a really interesting note. They probably would encourage each other's more aggressive tendencies. I can really see them kicking butt in some of those apocalypses together. They might argue a bit, but they would get the job done for sure.
Yeah, I'm just imagining like Silver and Surge just like electricity and like she like uses the telekinesis. I mean,
Mm.
not she. Silver uses the telekinesis to like launch like lightning strikes everywhere.
Yeah, they would feed
Surge is
off of each
flustered
other's
when she
energy.
sees Silver flip over a car using nothing but his mind.
Mm. Yeah, you know what? Serge would probably think that he's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I can see that.
yeah. Then I just imagine even like if someone insults one of Surge and Silver once, like one of the other of them will interact and they'll just like that person will never be heard from again. Like if someone
Hmm.
insults Surge in front of Silver, or someone insults Silver in front of Surge, like that person's just gone. Especially if we're talking like
Yeah.
06 mentality Silver.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
ruthless.
Yep. What else is ruthless? Probably this next question. What is it?
So another anonymous, and they ask, Shady Call is cool. I agree. But what other to call ships should there be? Ooh,
Ooh. Yeah.
interesting. I
Yeah, like
mean,
I love Shadaiko.
I'm
I
a
think
big
it's
fan of Shady
ruthless.
Call.
Shadaiko is, I think I'm saying it right. Shadaikola, Coca-Cola. Chaos Soda. That rhymed. Put me on the next Eminem cover. I think Shadaiko is one of the cooler Sonic ships. I love how cute it is. And also gives
Hmm.
some stuff to call like imagine them interact with each other like that is just so wholesome and cute.
Yeah, they balance each other out really well. But as for other to call ships, well, that's a really good question. Um, I've seen a bit of Sonic Hall
Yeah,
thrown
I think
around, which
Evan
I think would be
Stanley's
really
fan
interesting.
comic. Don't quote me on this. But I think Evan Stanley's fan comic had a Sonical focus. I don't.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Don't quote me on that. I forgot what it's called, but I remember something. Cause I remember seeing her post a picture of Sonic and Tikal kissing Sonic.
Oh,
I have
that's
to go
so
find it
cute.
somewhere. But yeah. An idea I've thrown around a little bit, and it's kind of grown on other people is Whisper and Tikal. Even
Mhm.
though it might be insensitive to ship
Yeah.
somebody with Whisper that's someone that's technically dead.
I mean, you could say the same for Shady Call, so I think it'd be fine. Um,
Yeah, I just feel
no,
like
yeah, they would have a really interesting dynamic. I think Tikal's calm demeanor and kind of being at peace with her own kind of tragic past would really, really resonate with Whisper.
yeah, it's just like yeah, Tangle's energetic and Silver is goofball, but just having Whisper with someone that is just like calm, like that will just like
Hmm.
cozy up with her. I think that would be something that's
Hmm.
really interesting to see because Tikal is she's a part of my language. She's a badass. Like Tikal is a badass,
Oh
but
yeah.
just like have someone that's more calm with Whisper would just be so cute to see because you have someone that can help Whisper through more panicky stuff because yeah, Tangle's emotionally intelligent and so is Silver. But just having someone that can just be
Hmm.
there and just sit there and listen and not just be recklessly impulsive. I mean, as much as I love Tangle, she is impulsive,
Yeah.
and Silver's obviously impulsive. But just having someone there that can just sit there and have like the same like IQ as Whisper, you know what I mean? Just like
Mhm.
would be nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
What other? You have any? Let's see. Sonic Hole, Shadow, Wispicle. I'm gonna call it Wispicle. I don't know if Tikisper would come out the mouth right. Um, maybe well, Blaze couldn't happen because they're in another dimension.
I was gonna say that would be, yeah.
Maybe Nicole.
Ooh, well, that's interesting.
I think Nicole and
Yeah, I
Nicole
mean,
would be cool.
they both know what it's like to not be in the physical world anymore.
Oh yeah, true. Oh, that's dark. Yeah, I think that would be really cute. Just the idea of them like just
Yeah.
maybe Espio and Tikal could work too.
Well, I was thinking that too. Yeah. I think Tikal would be very amused by Espio's
Yeah,
trying to be super cool all the time. She would support him.
yeah, I think that would be really awesome to see.
Hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of potential with Tikal. She's such an interesting and like really compelling character.
Speaking of compelling characters, next question: what would the Diamond Cutter's favorite fast food spots be, featuring Surge and Kit?
Hmm.
Lanolin strikes me as somebody that goes to Long John Silver's.
Long John Silver's. I haven't been to Long John Silver's in a long time.
I remember walking in one time, and then my knees started to feel warm, so I walked out.
And that's your motivation for saying Lanolin?
Yeah, I just feel like Lanolin would just go in there. I feel like she's the type of person that would eat fast food fish and be fine.
You know what? Yeah, I can see that.
I feel like that is something that would be there. I think Tangle. I don't think Tangle. I feel like Jewel would ban Tangle from McDonald's. So,
I was gonna say she'd be a McDonald's person. She wants those Happy Meals.
I just feel like Tangle kind of strikes me as somebody that would just be banned from McDonald's because she would just like go around the playpen.
She'd get herself stuck on one of those playground slides.
Yeah, it was a nightmare. The staff was there for weeks.
When you got that much tail, it's kind of hard to get unstuck.
I feel like Tangle would be more of a. I don't want to say Taco Bell.
I'm gonna say Sonic. I think she would go to Sonic because she'd love the roller skating shtick.
Oh, that would be so cute. Just a minute.
Right?
Yeah. That would work with Tangle. I feel like she'd like the roller skates. I feel like she would like slushies.
Yeah.
Chili dogs. Yeah. Whisper. I feel like Whisper's an interesting one. I don't know if I don't feel like Whisper would be the type to eat fast food.
I don't know if she would really want fast food that much.
I feel like if Whisper
she'd drive everyone there, but probably wouldn't get anything. Maybe she'd go to Wendy's and get one of those like Frosties.
Yeah, Wendy's would be cool, but I think she'd go to Five Guys because she lost 5 teammates. Just to
feel just to feel something again.
Yes.
I don't know if this counts as fast food. I don't know. It's kind of fast food. There's a chain called Smash Burger, and I think Surge would go there just because of the name. Yeah. She'd be like, "Oh, they smash burgers there. I want to smash the burgers. Like I want to switch them." I feel like she'd be into that. She'd be like, "Yes, let me go stomp on all the burgers." When she get there and realize it's just normal burgers and be disappointed.
Yeah. Surge strikes me as somebody that there's no things that make fun of ducks, or I would say that she would go to a spot that just humiliates ducks. I kind of agree. I feel like she would maybe Whataburger because she has amnesia technically.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Kit. What would Kit like? I feel like Kit would be the McDonald's.
No. That's true. Or Surge would probably take him to McDonald's. He'd be like, "You want a Happy Meal?" And he'd be like, "Yeah." He asked for no pickles.
Yeah.
Thanks for that question, a tall pan guy.
Yeah. One of the AO3 writers. Speaking of 3, let's go to the next question. I think has something with 3 in it.
Next question is top 3 Amy ships from Anonymous. Well, I mean, I don't think anyone could ever guess what my first favorite Amy ship is. I'm just never obvious about that sort of thing.
Let me guess, Son Amy?
Oh my goodness, how'd you get it?
Oh, wow.
Lucky guess. Yeah, no, I think Son Amy is the entire reason I got into the Sonic franchise at all. I've always loved that ship, even not being in the fandom at all. So day ones, love them to death. As far as other top Amy ships, I'm a big fan of Chat Amy and a big fan of Meta Amy. I like both of those a lot.
Meta Amy. Oh, Meta Amy. There's a Meta Amy.
Yeah, Metal and Amy.
Yeah, I love Meta Amy too. My favorite Amy ship probably has to be Shad Amy. I like Shad Amy a lot.
Yeah,
Just like the aesthetic of it.
yeah, their dynamic is awesome.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, the aesthetic is wonderful.
Yeah. Other Amy. I want to throw in a joke Amy one, but I don't have a really good joke Amy one. I like Met Amy. I think that's a really cute idea.
hmm
Um,
Yeah, there's a really good fic that I've been sort of keeping up with.
Obviously
That
I
has
throw
like
Son Amy
an
in there.
AU.
I would get
Yeah.
punched in the face by everyone in the fan if I didn't mention Son Amy in my top 10 ships.
There you go. So you've got Chat Amy, Met Amy, and Son Amy, just in a different order.
Yeah. Obviously Son Amy is the Mickey and Minnie. It's the thing. Even though,
Yeah,
yeah. Technically, if we want to go by canon
a little
relationships, then
basic
they're also
sometimes,
well.
but hey, you can't beat the classics.
Yeah. Speaking of classics, CD is the best 2D game
Oh
from the classic era.
yes, I love Sonic CD.
Speaking of shipping, the next question is from Anonymous.
Oh yeah.
Favorite SVO ships?
Ooh. SBO ships. I've been indoctrinated
By the
by some of my moods. Yeah, by the Espanol community.
Yeah, I love
I
Espanol.
love
Espanol. Ferns
Espanol.
and Scribs, fantastic people. I love the idea of them being cougars. I just love SVO's character. The character that's grown me on the most over this last year has been SVO.
Yeah.
I like the idea of SVO.
Yeah, no, I love them. Yeah, Shadow SBO I've seen a bit of. I've also seen SFix, which I think
SVO
is
sticks. That's funny.
a hilarious combination. I really like that.
I feel like SVO is like comically bad
the
with
conspiracy
nunchucks.
theorist with the spy is really funny.
I feel like SVO is like is just like canonically bad with nunchucks, and then just sticks just picks them up and just
Oh,
picks them
yeah.
immediately, and like yep, that settles it. Hello.
She's the one.
Yeah. A joke. SBO and Silver's cute.
Oh yeah, I've seen Silver too. He's had a lot of popular ships, honestly.
Silver has a type, and it's quiet people with large foreheads.
Oh no, don't do him like that. That's true though.
Yeah, we already talked about SBO and DeCall a little bit, but yeah, SBO is a really interesting character. Hopefully, it's as interesting as
for sure.
Next question.
So Anonymous asked, if Silver headed to the movies, what voice actor would you want? Well,
Me.
I'm not a big fan of I'm not a big fan of celebrity hires. So I would prefer to keep at least a voice actor doing it. I mean, having Pete Capello back would be amazing.
Yeah.
I'll just say.
Chris Pratt.
Yeah, Chris Pratt.
I just feel like I'm not trying to be joking with this. I genuinely think Chris Pratt would be a good Silver. I'm just thinking of him being like Star-Lord. And also like Emmett from the Lego movie. Believe it or not, Chris Pratt can voice act. The Lego movie exists.
Yeah, a lot of people joke about him, but honestly, he does some really solid work. He did like you said, the Lego movie. I mean, he was good in Marvel stuff. He was really good as Mario. A lot of people dunked on him at first, but he delivered. Yeah. I think he would make a pretty convincing Silver. Yeah, I can totally see that.
Josh Hutcherson is another idea I've thrown out there a little bit.
Yeah. Very talented.
Yeah,
Silver's voice is very unique, but a lot of people I think could pull it off very well.
Yeah. If I became a big celebrity actor, I would do Silver for free. It's no use. Take this.
Hey, that's not bad.
Look at all of these computers. I can do
That's pretty good.
It's not as good as my Mario. Hello. But yeah.
Secretly Chris Pratt in disguise, guys.
Oh, damn.
That's why he's advocating for Chris Pratt.
Yes, I am Chris Pratt. Give me more money. I wish I had a body like Chris Pratt. And also his bank account. Please give me his bank account.
There you go. That's what you really want.
Yeah, money.
Yeah, there are a lot of good options for Silver.
Speaking of good options, this next one is one of my favorite duo questions. Another one from Anonymous. What are your thoughts on Surge and Kit?
Oh, you're so sweet. I love Found Family.
Sonic and Tails if they locked in.
Sonic and Tails, but one of them is more feral.
Imagined them existing. It's just what if Sonic and Tails locked in?
And that's how they got traumatized.
Yeah. I like Surge and Kit
Yeah.
as a duo. I think out of all of the IDW cast,
Mhm.
out of every character that's been introduced, I feel like Surge I think Lanolin right now is the best written character, but like overall in terms of like quality
Mhm.
overall writing, I think Surge has had a pretty good go around, especially with Kit. I think they're a great duo. Characters by themselves, they're interesting. I want them to do a little bit more with Kit before we get more of Surge and Kit sibling, hijinks. I want to see Kit more as his own character. But overall, pretty fun.
Right.
Like they're a good duo. They're
Yeah.
up there with the other IDW duo, Tangle and Whisper, in my opinion. Except I don't
Mhm.
ship Surge and Kit together. I'm gonna make sure that people don't think I'm shipping
No.
them together.
No. No. No.
I like, I like Kit. I think he's great. He's very puntable. Don't tell Surge I said that.
Mhm.
But yeah, overall, I think
Yeah. No.
great.
Yeah. I think you're right. They're a really, really strong written characters, especially Surge, like you said. I really enjoy kind of the anti-heroes who have to stick together and rely on each other. And Surge, especially, is such a really like complex character. I really, really enjoy the direction they went with her story, the direction they're still going with it. So I think her and Kit, especially Kit's kind of willingness to do anything to make Surge happy, I think that's a really interesting trait of his that kind of pits him narratively against Tails. They have similar dynamics with Sonic and Surge,
Because
or
Tails
sorry,
knows
Sonic
when to draw
and
the line.
Tails. Yeah, exactly. Tails knows where to draw the line. Kit doesn't. So I like you said, I hope they do more with Kit because that could present itself in some really interesting ways. So yeah, I absolutely love them as a duo.
Speaking of dynamics, what is the next question?
The
Trying to think
next
like the good way to
question,
roll into
the
these next
spoiler
ones.
for Sonic 3.
Well, Amy doing Sonic 3?
What do you think? What do you think Amy will do?
Um,
Well, that's a good question because initially thinking about it's like, oh, well, they're going to do Sonic CD, but at the same time, if you've seen the credit scene, you know that there's apparently a lot of Metal Sonics. So I'm curious where the rest of them came from and why Amy is already kind of on their tail.
I think Amy is from the future. I'll say it. I
Yeah,
think Amy is from
there's
the
a lot of
future.
theories going around
I
that they're going
think
to start
Eggman
pulling
didn't
in
die at the
the
end of
future
3.
and past timelines.
I think
Yeah,
Eggman didn't die at 3. He
because
was from
Jim
the future.
Carrey said, yeah, he's like, oh, I don't want to come back, and it's like,
Money.
well, how are they going to bring him back?
Time travel.
So
Endgame.
yeah,
I feel like
I
she's
think
gonna
that's
be
a
more
very
like
viable
Mario. I
option,
think
and that
she's
would
gonna be
lead
like Mario
into
movie
Silver and all
Peach,
that.
which I'm fine with. I feel
Mm,
like that's a good idea. I don't think we need to see Amy be captured.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
excited to see
that's
what
a
they do
good
with
question.
Amy.
It's like, are we going to see Amy get captured by Metal Sonics?
Mario movie
Based on
handled
her
it very
introduction, it feels like
good when it
maybe
came to
no.
the Mario movie handled it pretty good when it came to like the Peach getting
Yeah,
captured thing. I
sure,
don't think
yeah,
Eggman's gonna try to marry Amy, but we're gonna maybe see like
no,
her being
probably not.
trapped and like being
Mm,
forced to do things that she won't want to do. Not on the
sure,
same level as marriage,
yeah.
but
A lot of people are speculating that they might flip the dynamic between Sonic and Amy in
I
the
can see that.
movies. I'm open to anything. I can see them doing that. I can see them not doing that. If they do go that route, I'm curious if Sonic will get captured instead of Amy.
Like kind of like what they did with like Luigi, but if we're going by that case, then Tails is gonna get captured.
Hmm.
Honestly, I could see
Yeah,
that
there you
just to
go.
have them build mechs, like to build the Metal Sonic stuff.
Yeah, I'm curious. My personal theory is that Stone either completed or made Metal
If it
Sonics.
is an Eggman from the
Uh,
future,
but yeah, if it is an Eggman.
I do not want to see Eggman negative on the big screen. Please don't. God.
Oh man. Yeah, as far as Amy goes, I think because they've kind of been trying to introduce a character into a story centered around them. So like we saw with Knuckles and then with Shadow. So I'm thinking Amy's going to be pretty central to the plot. So I'm thinking that she'll get spotlighted a lot, but I think she'll because we kind of went through an arc with Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails about like finding each other and trusting each other and working as a team. Um, so I think Amy will kind of center that arc and bring heart and the more like emotional maturity type quality to that team, and really solidify their dynamic, which I think will be really awesome.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. Speaking of things that will happen, like me answering this next question, well, asking this next question, what was the? Oh my God, what was the origin of the Iblis Rizzer? So
That's a you question, bud.
yep. So on the Bumblecast, I did a series called the Iblis Rizzer. It was done with my friend Brain Shark. It came from the idea of Josh Hutcherson being casted as Silver originally, where I'm like, wouldn't it be really funny if Silver just dated every person in the Sonic universe? Because Silver's a dense fluffball, and half of the Sonic cast is like, oh
Hmm.
yeah, we're into that. And
Yeah,
that's the way
yeah,
the
he's a
Iblis
heartthrob,
Rizzer
even if he
is.
doesn't know it.
Yeah, did you know about the Iblis Rizzer?
I did know about the Iblis Rizzer.
Yeah, that was me. Where'd you hear from the Iblis Rizzer from?
Oh, just being in the fandom and people constantly making jokes about it.
Wait, it's actually that popular?
I've seen plenty of jokes of people saying Iblis Rizzer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I even got Adam Bryce Thomas to sketch things when he does his sketch
Oh my
streams,
goodness.
and
That's
it's just
wonderful.
funny. There's one right now. There's one with Whisper and Blaze, and there's another one with Lanolin and Rouge. Honestly,
Yeah,
the
so
thing
you
about
have it.
Silver and
Just
Lanolin together
silly
is
jokes.
just like the funniest thing ever because they probably get excited doing taxes.
Oh no, they would. Oh.
Yeah, but yeah, the Iblis Rizzer is just something that's like funny. It's goofy. It is
Hmm.
probably one of my more finer inside jokes in the fandom.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Mhm. Speaking of insider jokes, is this
Right.
next one as
Next
funny?
question. That depends on who you ask, I guess. Because Anonymous wants to know who our favorite Sonic writer is.
Ken Penders.
Controversial.
I'm joking.
Whoa.
I actually did run into somebody from the 90s who actually grew up with the things that actually said that Ken Penders was his favorite writer because of just how insane his stuff was.
You know what? Sometimes you just gotta embrace the chaos. I respect it.
I will say, I respect Ian. I've enjoyed some of his stuff, but I just feel like right now Evan has done a way better job,
Hmm.
especially in this more recent arc. I've enjoyed more of the Evan stuff and than Ian stuff recently. So yeah, right now I would kind of lean towards Evan Stanley being my favorite Sonic writer.
There you go.
Like,
Yeah, I'm kind of
Frontiers.
in.
He did a solid job with Frontiers. He did a fantastic job
Mhm.
with Sonic Shadow Generations with the second
Mhm.
story with the Shadow story. But just I think Evan has a better sense of the characters right now than Ian does.
Mm. Yeah,
Honestly, no
I
disrespect.
mean, I agree. I think Evan does an incredible job. But I will have to say, opposite you, that I think Ian is currently my favorite Sonic writer, just because of what you said. His hard work in Frontiers and Shadow Generations were so important for bringing Sonic kind of back from the slump it was in and back into a mainstream audience. So honestly, both of them are incredibly good writers, and they do great work.
Here because like the one shining light in the 2000s era was the Archie comics, and this is like post E. This is like pre Ian. They were kind of humiliated. Post Ian, like you can say what you want about the decisions he's made. Ian single handedly kept Archie and probably some positive perception of Sonic alive at least for a decade and a half.
Yeah.
Like easily.
Yeah. It's not an easy job, and no one's gonna write everything perfectly. That's important to keep in mind when talking about this kind of thing.
Yeah, but there's also bad Ian stories. But he's not a terrible
Mhm.
writer.
Yeah.
Yep,
exactly.
Evan
Yeah.
Stories that I don't
People
like,
people
but,
make good things and bad things.
Yeah, like people will make bad things, but people will make good things, and Ian's good things I think easily outweigh the bad. I mean, I still prefer Evan, but Ian is easily the close second.
Yep.
I do enjoy the Sonic movie writers as well, though. I've actually got
I was gonna shout out the movie writers too. Yeah.
I've actually talked to Pat Casey a little bit on his Twitter. He likes basketball too, so it's like funny. I talked basketball with him one time, so that was like hilarious.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's how I become Silver in Sonic Movie 3. Hey, Pat Casey, Josh Miller.
There you go. The basketball connection.
I know what it's like to deal with a tragic city. I'm a fan of the Charlotte Hornets and the Cleveland Browns.
There you go.
And the New York Mets, even though we just signed Juan Soto. But like,
ooh, Mets fan. I'm so sorry.
I'm a Met. What's wrong with? Are you a Dodgers fan?
No, it's just you have a hard life sometimes.
Yeah, I'm being a Mets. Oh, are you a Mets fan?
A little bit. I'm not super into the sport, but I keep up a little bit.
I'm a big Mets guy. I became a Mets fan because I was on a Little Rex baseball team. We had a 5-15 record, the worst record in the league, and we won the championship.
You can empathize.
The one seed coach was swearing at 7-year-olds.
Oh no!
And I just walked by because I hit a double that game. It was the first time I hit something the entire game. I was just like a complete goober during the game, and we won because I got a double. And he was like, God. Seeing a grown obese man get mad about baseball is just funny.
Sports coaches are a different breed, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
But yeah, the movie writers have done insanely well. I mean, they're part of what drew me into the franchise. So, congratulations for the success with Sonic 3, and I wish them all the best going forward. Because you know what, I trust them. I trust them with it at this point. They've done great.
Yeah, and once again, Mr. Miller, Mr. Casey, Mr. Fowler, I have a good Silver impression. I know what it's like to deal with tragedy. I am a Mets fan, Hornets fan, and Browns fan. I mean, the Hurricanes are...
And he'll do it for free.
Yeah, I'll do it for free. Please. I will
That's
post
the
this on
important part.
Twitter.com. Please. I would love... I was also born in 2006. The stars should align. Okay, speaking of things aligning...
Speaking of the stars aligning.
Yeah. Speaking of things aligning, Another question from Anonymous. What is the worst classic game between 1, 2, 3D, CD, and Blast? I hate Sonic 2 with a passion.
Well, I was gonna say I don't know if I have too much to say about this since I actually haven't played
I was playing Sonic 2 on
Sonic
Twitch.
3 or Blast. As far as I think the best category I can reasonably judge this on is music, since that's the most of what I've seen from these games. So I would have to say either Blast or Sonic 2. Sonic 2 is just kind of a weaker title of those first three games.
Yeah. Also,
Obviously, the
2,
first one
I
is
spent, like,
the first
2
one.
hours on the last stage in the final fight. It was just
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're all still
kind of an
pretty
awkward
good.
in the
They're
middle
all still
title.
pretty good platformers.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
They're all great. It's like picking your least favorite donut. It's all tasty and wonderful.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have to say either Blast or Sonic 2. It's probably
Blast isn't bad.
my
It's just very
lesser
awkward.
favorites. Yeah, it's just kind of there for me. I don't know. I don't see too many people talk about it either. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of ranking, I believe this next question is also about ranking.
Someone wants to know, how would you rank the movies and the Knuckles show?
I think the worst one, no offense, way to get the think ground rolling. I think Sonic 1 is the weakest out of everything. Like, it has some good moments. Jim Carrey, slightly James Marsden, Jim Carrey. But just overall, it is a predictable buddy road trip movie with James Marsden talking to a fictional animal. I feel like I'm watching Hop, but good.
Fair enough.
Do you agree with that, or do you have a different overall worst?
I think it's really close for me between overall worst. I think I agree with you, but that's mostly just because it came first, so there was nothing really for it to build on, rather than what it was already doing. I think the other films are really strong because they build on what Sonic 1 did, and I love the first Sonic movie. It did so much to set up that franchise well, and obviously Tom and Sonic have an awesome dynamic in that movie. But yeah, I think it is the weakest. Yeah.
Second to worst, I would have to go with Sonic 2. This is my big hot take. Like, you might think it's because of the wedding scene. It's not. I just feel like there's...
I love the wedding scene.
The wedding stuff is fun. Like, I love the human stuff in the movie. But Tails is a big deal breaker for me in the film.
Yeah.
Tails was just written, like... We didn't, like... I love Colleen O'Shaughnessy. Great actor. Phenomenal actor. But she got so screwed in the second movie because, like, every Tails line is just... Only Sonic the Hedgehog can think of exact thing at that exact moment in the exact scenario.
He was a very much just there character. Besides, obviously, the one scene. But he was kind of just there for a lot of it.
So empty. Like, he just feels like he was there because the post-credit scene was there. Obviously, I'll get to the third movie later in the ranking, but I'm glad that the third movie fixed Tails, because the second movie just felt like Tails was there to say catchphrase, gadgets, and because they didn't want to cast like Ian Armitage as Tails.
Right.
Ian Armitage as Young Sheldon, which was my original pick for Tails. That would have been just like so funny. But do you agree with 2 being in second? Well, second worst.
I might be about to say something real controversial.
Ooh.
I'm actually gonna put Sonic 3 at second.
Second worst?
Out of four.
Yeah.
But I think I love Sonic 3. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a fantastic movie, and they did so well with it.
But it does feel rushed.
But for me, it feels the pacing just feels off to me. Some of the emotional beats didn't hit as hard as I wanted them to. I think the pacing just felt off, and they kind of hurt themselves with some weird cuts between scenes.
It just feels like there was like so much missing.
It felt like there was a lot that they did amazingly well, but it also felt like there was stuff that they could have left out in favor of the story.
This feels like ADHD.
It wasn't even the human stuff. It was more the constant switching between scenes. If they had put the scenes together in a different order, I think it would have worked perfectly.
Yeah, and that's something I said in the review of the movie as well. Like, if this movie had like an extra 20 minutes, it would be perfect. Like, give us more
just a little more room to breathe.
Shadow and Maria.
A little longer scene.
Give us a little bit more of Gerald by himself. Because I don't think Gerald and Eggman are...
Gerald, I wanted to see more of Gerald and Shadow talking.
Yeah, like, we get that for like 5 seconds.
Like, that's really special because besides now Shadow Generations, we had never really seen them interact.
Yeah, like
so I think that could have been utilized.
Yeah, there's like the 5 seconds at the beginning of the movie, then there's the Maria death scene that has you know, like a
Mm.
moment with Shadow and Gerald together, and the fucking whoops, I have to censor that. Wait, we'll keep it as an
Beep.
Easter egg. But with the he does the same quill thing with the sorry for swearing again.
Hmm.
Just with the thing that we seen carried to the last two movies. But I just that is my big criticism of Sonic 3 is just the pacing was just
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
suffers because of that. I mean, it's still a good movie. The music was cool, but I
Hmm.
wish we got more scenes. Like I wish we got more of it. It feels like the
Yep.
Mario movie. I feel like
Yeah.
that's a fair comparison.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
What's your second place pick?
Second place, I'm gonna. Ooh, now that honestly, yeah, Sonic 3 is second place.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. It's fun. It's goofy. It's great. But man, the pacing. Like now that I'm reflecting, good movie. Like none of these projects are bad, but just the
Oh
pacing.
no, we're ranking amazing things here.
Like the pacing is just. Oh my god.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
fat. Like it works. It works at the beginning, but like the second rewatch when I went in there with my
Mhm.
little brother, I'm like, oh my god, this movie's quick.
Yeah.
Like even when I was watching on the first
Yeah.
time,
We touched. Yeah.
it's the same feeling that I got when I was watching the Mario movie.
Right.
When your pacing is as good, if your pacing is as fast as the Mario movie, then you have a problem.
Mm.
I mean, it's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
People
All
want to
right.
have your own thing, but you know. So
Right.
what's your second place pick?
Yeah. So my second place pick is going to be the Knuckles show. I between the Knuckles show and Sonic 2, they're practically on the same level to me. Which is controversial, I'm sure. But Knuckles show, and I'm assuming that's your number one pick.
Yeah.
So we can just talk about it here. The Knuckles show, yeah. Oh man, it really. I don't know. It was just so special to me. It
It's
really,
comforting to
really endeared
watch.
me because I wasn't a huge Knuckles fan before that show, so I was like, oh, I think it'll be fun.
Yeah. I do
But
think
coming
they
out of
do
that show, I
over
was like, I
exaggerate how much
really
Knuckles is in
like,
it, how much Knuckles isn't in it. Like Knuckles still gets a
yeah.
good amount of screen time. Like, like people that
Mhm.
came in thinking like, oh my god, we're gonna get the chaotics, we're gonna get like a shadow scene, we're gonna get all of this. It's an adaptation of the movies.
Right,
It's not an adaptation of the games. It's just Knuckles
right.
and Wade doing silly things. I love what they did with Wade. It's a little stereotypical.
Mhm.
Like every project does
I
have its
love what they
problems,
did with Wade.
but seeing Wade is just
Hmm.
fun.
Yeah, I really appreciated the depth that they brought to Wade in his family and his character and like his whole kind of arc. Because obviously he's in the first movie, you're like, oh, that's the comic
So,
relief guy.
in the
But
second
in the
movie,
Knuckles show, you're like, oh, this is like a pretty well fleshed out character. And he and Knuckles have a really interesting dynamic. And
yeah,
especially what made the Knuckles show hit home for me was the development that we saw, that payoff in Sonic 3.
yeah, the payoff made the
So
Knuckles
we
show
went
worth it.
from
I didn't
Knuckles in
think Wade was
Sonic
gonna be good at
2.
all.
Mhm.
Continue.
Yeah, we went through Knuckles in Sonic 2 to having that arc in his show where he kind of learns how to be more of a leader and more of a protector and less headstrong, and really how to take a step back and focus on the more important things. And we see that payoff hugely in Sonic 3, especially the scene where he tells Sonic, like, hey, you're not keeping this promise, but I'm going to choose to keep this promise and I'm going to trust you.
And that's
I
what
think that was a
happened with the Knuckles
huge
show.
moment for his character.
Yeah, that's happened with the Knuckles show when
Exactly.
he
Like you wouldn't have that connection without his time spent learning with Wade,
yeah.
and you especially would be confused about that transition between Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 if you didn't have that show.
After I legally, for legal reasons, watched Sonic 3 legally, I went back and I rewatched the Knuckles show, and I'm like, oh my
Mhm.
god, this works. It's
Yeah, you see it, right?
yeah. Is Wade a goofball and does he take up a little bit of screen time? Yeah, he does. But just
For
overall,
sure.
but
But
overall,
we're having
he's
fun.
good. Yeah, like it's a fun buddy thing, and
Right. It wasn't meant to be like the next major installment.
yeah, and give us Knuckles season 2
It's
with
allowed
the
to be fun.
chaotics.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to see more of that show. Yeah. And then of course my first place pick was Sonic 2.
Yeah, like
I just think that one
agree that
nailed it.
yeah, I slightly do agree. Like, I do think 3's a little bit better. I do respect 2 at
Mhm.
1 because 2 has a lot of fun
Mhm.
stuff in it. I love the shiitake mushrooms joke. I love
Yeah.
everything about movie 2. I feel like the Knuckles and I think they did Knuckles and Sonic as had a better fight scene than Sonic and
Mhm.
Shadow did
Mhm.
the first go
I
around.
agree.
That second Sonic and Shadow fight was really good, but like
Right.
the entirety of like the Knuckles and Sonic thing in that movie was so special.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, does it like
Yeah.
the only big downside, like the movie does feel complete. Like, say what you want about the human stuff, it
Yeah.
was good. Like,
I
it was
love the
there.
human stuff.
But like the only big flaw of movie 2, in my opinion, like to me, it was kind of the thing that did bring it down slightly below 3. But the only big flaw of 2 is Tails.
Yeah, and we did already cover that, and I agree. I'm really sad about that portrayal of Tails because there was a lot of potential there. But I think what makes up for it for me is, again, like you said, Sonic and Knuckles, their dynamic. But also in particular, the pacing was perfect. I never felt like it was
a
going too
movie.
fast or too slow.
Yeah, like
Felt
it
like
existed.
a full
It was
story,
fun.
and it felt like there wasn't anything they left out. And also I mean, obviously the spectacle in Sonic 3 was insane, but the visuals in Sonic 2 really, really blew me away. Like there were a lot of moments where I was like, wow, that's cool. Like you see the environments, like with the like temple with Longclaw.
Yeah,
You
two
see
felt more like
all the references to levels.
yeah, two
And
felt
like
like the thing.
especially the especially Supersonic. I
Yeah,
think
I think
there
Supersonic
was
was
a
a
lot that
lot
they
more
could have
cool
done
to see the first time
wrong with
around.
the first reveal
Yeah,
of
like
Supersonic, but
Supersonic was
he
done perfectly.
felt super,
Yeah, it just felt
which
like
I
when
thought
Sonic went Super in 3, it was just
tricky to
like we
pull
have
off,
to do
and they did
this.
it great.
Yeah, it just felt like in 3, like they just had to do it.
Hmm.
Like they give us the wait scene, which was funny,
Right.
but it's just
Yeah, but
like
you didn't really expect it in Sonic 2, and it really hit.
yeah, I was like, oh my god, they did it. And obviously, I think the shadow post like I love Amy, but that shadow post credit scene is just
Yes, was very hype.
yeah, yeah. And, obviously that
Ooh,
means Knuckles
okay.
for me is one. Yeah, and we just went over it. Yeah, like
Hmm.
I do, but overall these projects are fantastic. And thank God that original
Oh
movie
yeah.
design changed, because if it was just that movie design, we probably only have one thing to talk about. Okay,
Yes.
speaking of one thing to talk about, we have the last question, and it's also from Anonymous. Huh. What game needs a remaster the most?
Oh, me. Let me answer me.
Sure, go.
Unleashed, please.
Trumpets.
I want to play Unleashed so bad
Xbox.
in a nicer, more less annoying format to play.
If you have an Xbox, you just. Doot.
Oh, have you seen the gameplay though?
Yeah,
It,
I've
it
seen
needs
it.
an update.
Unleashed would be really cool to be remastered because all this stuff. Eggman Land for my. I've never played Unleashed. I
Hmm.
need to play it. But
Yeah.
I think the game that needs a remaster the most. I don't know if they're gonna do a older game because we haven't seen an older game yet. We've only seen the stuff from like the Roger era get redone.
Right.
But if I had to choose I think the Wii titles. I think the storybook games. Give me Black Knight and Secret Rings.
Yes.
Let's get those remastered.
Oh my, Black Knight remaster. I would go crazy.
Yeah, like because I feel like those are
I
two of the most
love that
underrepresented
game.
games in the entirety of the Sonic series. Like if we got like with no Wii motion controls, just got Secret
Oh
Rings
gosh.
and Black Knight.
I love the Wii, but yeah, the motion controls did not serve the Sonic games. They were
Yeah,
fun in other games, but not in Sonic.
yeah, and
Yeah, definitely want to see those
yeah.
remastered.
So if I had to do a top 5, I think Secret Rings needs to remake the most. Then followed by Black Knight.
Oof,
I'll throw
yeah.
in Unleashed. I'll then
Yes.
throw in 06, and then
Yeah, why not?
Sonic Adventure 2.
SA2 remake. That would be interesting.
Yeah. So what are your top 5?
Yeah, there you go. That's a good list. I think I agree with a lot of those. I mean, I'm just biased because I just really want to see an Unleashed remaster, not because it needs it the most or anything, but I just want to see it. So Unleashed, definitely the storybook games. So that's Black Knight and Secret Ring. I don't know about 06. I think they're kind of trying to leave that one in the past a little more. I'd rather them see a fresh story with those characters,
I think
maybe.
a rewrite
Um,
would be good.
yeah, a rewrite
But I
definitely
want it to
would
be
be
if they
needed.
do
So
rewrite
maybe
it,
more
I
of a
hope that they don't do what they did with
spiritual
Generations.
successor than a remake.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
don't want it like as much as I love Ian, like the Generations part, the Sonic
Mhm.
Generations part of Sonic Shadow Generations, like
Yeah.
his changes were minimal, and honestly, I
Yep.
kind of did prefer the original script over. But the only thing that I liked that was changed was the shadow line at the end of the game.
Sure.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
not
that's
the
fair.
biggest fan of the Sonic Generations remake
Hmm.
part because that
Yeah.
just felt like all
As far
the
as
negative
two
things
other
about Ian's
games.
writing put into one thing, and then we have all the positives in Shadow Generations.
Sure, that's fair.
I'm pretty sure he's even credited with
Um,
doing the rewrites in Generations in the
mhm.
Sonic part because I don't
Yeah, I
think
mean,
I've
I'd
seen any
like to
credit.
see some of the more spin-off games, like Sonic Racing would be
Ooh,
cool
the
to get a
original Sonic
remake.
Racing game, Sonic Riders remake would be cool
Yeah,
because you could technically do that because
or yeah, Riders.
yeah,
Hmm. Sonic Rush would be cool to get a
yes, that
modern
soundtrack coming to a
version
modern
of.
audience. I bought a
Hmm.
DS and
That would be
just to play
awesome.
Rush.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I need to get my hands on Sonic Rush because I have a DS. So I need to get myself that game.
So
Yeah,
what would be your fifth and
there you go.
final?
I think that was 5. I think I'll lock in Unleashed, Storybook series, Rush, and
Oh yeah, Riders.
yeah, let's go with Riders. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of things that are good to go, that's it for the first discussion episode of the podcast of Disaster. Thank you so much for listening to this, and I hope everybody here has a good night. Be good to yourselves, others, and mothers, and see you next time. Have anything to say, Firefly?
Bye bye. That's it. See ya.
See ya.